It's a number almost too big to comprehend. More than $2 trillion. That's how much Nvidia is worth after its latest valuation. So the company creates chips used in a lot of AI, including OpenAI's ChatGPT and Google's Gemini. Wall Street is loving Nvidia. Its shares have skyrocketed, but could this signal a bubble similar to the dot-com boom of the early aughts? That's the early 2000s. For a closer look, we are joined by tech analyst Carmi Levy. Carmi, welcome. That's a huge number. First of all, for anybody not familiar, how do the chip works? What are they used for? Why are they so valuable all of a sudden?
So, I mean, we're familiar with chips because they power pretty much every other electronic device that we use. If you have a laptop, for example, you know that it has a CPU, a central processing unit in it. And for many years, that sort of dominant company was Intel. That is still largely the case. But what Nvidia makes, it's a different kind of chip. Instead of a central processing unit, it's known as a graphics processing unit or a GPU. And what that does, it's really good at processing imagery. And so for years, if you buy an Xbox or a PlayStation, this technology is in it. If you have a PC and you want to upgrade your graphics, you get an Nvidia card, and they've been sort of the dominant player in those markets as well. But as it turns out, this technology is also really good for artificial intelligence. That same GPU technology, it's really good at handling lots of information, lots of graphical information in parallel, crunching all of that data in a data center. And then every time we, for example, ask ChatGPT to use something or make an image or do something like that, it can handle that much more effectively than other technologies. So in data centers, they're loading up on NVIDIA technology as well. And because over the last few years, we've had the pandemic that sent us all home using remote services like Zoom, and we played lots of games. And then, of course, along comes the AI explosion. It's like NVIDIA is like this perfect example of this amazing technology in the right place at the right time, just as the world absolutely needs it. It's almost an unheard of story in technology.
Oh, it's one of those ones, too, where you think, if only I'd put all the pieces together and invested early. Their stocks, I say that because their stocks are up 60% this year. That's according to Reuters. Is NVIDIA's success like out of the blue, or has this been, a slow boil?
I think they've been around for just over 20 years. So, I mean, we know this company. This is not unlike kind of the dot-com bubble where a lot of these companies, it was based on hype. There really wasn't a business model to back it up. NVIDIA does have a very solid, strong business that many of the largest companies in the world are relying heavily on them, and they continue to invest in them. So I don't think this is a flash in the pan. I really do think it's going somewhere. If anything, if there are any clouds on the horizon for this company, it's that everyone else is slowly waking up to the fact that NVIDIA kind of leapfrogged them when nobody was looking. And so they're starting to wake up and they compete against them. But NVIDIA has been a really strong, adaptive company. They always sort of figure it out a little bit before everyone else, and then everyone else plays catch up. And I would expect that to continue for the next little while.
Oh, it makes me hope. It really makes me hope that they've paid some of their employees in stocks. Because how great for them. Listen, we've seen this before. Big valuation, what goes up must come down. There is a crash. Are we setting ourselves up for that scenario here?
I mean, that curve can only stay this steep for so long. So at some point, I think it will level off. But I think the fundamentals are definitely there. This is a company whose technology is in pretty much everything. For example, even companies that it competes against, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Meta, they're buying billions of dollars of NVIDIA products as well. And their margins are 55%, which is also insane. I looked through the financials, and it wasn't just this quarter. It was previous quarter, one after the other. They keep exceeding analysts' expectations simply because, A, their technology is next level. No one seems to be able to match them. And they always seem to find a way to move on to the next thing before everyone else is caught on. So, I mean, this is a company that really, I don't see it exploding anytime soon, but maybe leveling off a little bit as the rest of the world kind of evens the playing field. I think that's probably what we're looking at.
Is it fair isn't the right word, but is it an accurate valuation? We've seen this happen with companies before where the valuation doesn't necessarily mean the actual value of the company.
I think in this case, there's a lot of hype that's built into it. I think a lot of people, when a company emerges from the shadows, and Nvidia isn't a company that consumers have been familiar with. You don't buy an Nvidia device. Nvidia's technology is embedded in things that you buy from other companies. And so a lot of people are going, who are they, even though they've been around for a while? So there certainly is a lot of sort of, people kind of gathering around and kind of, getting onto the bandwagon late in the game. And they'll probably fade off as things continue. They'll move on to the next big thing. That's just the way the stock market works. But I think the fundamentals are still there. And those who have believed in the company for the past couple of decades, they'll stick with it, recognizing that as the artificial intelligence revolution continues, there are a very small number of companies that are positioned to take advantage of it and who provide the technology that can power this both on the devices we use and the networks and the data centers that we connect to and through. And Nvidia, whether these competitors like it or not, is the #1 company on that very short list.
Yeah, they're so far ahead already. I am waiting for the streaming services documentaries to come out. Thanks, Carmi.
Thanks, Anne-Marie.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.